I'm out of the trailer. If you have some cargo that just won't fit inside your vehicle, or you don't want it in there because it has a bunch of grime on it, but you also want to protect it from the elements outside and give it some extra security still, then the etrailer cargo carrier kit is going to be a great option for you. So let's check it out. So this kit we're going to be talking about today is going to have everything you need to really start loading up gear on the back of your vehicle and keep it secure. Now, this is going to be for anyone who's doing a lot of camping, you got a lot of smelly or just dirty gear that you don't want inside your vehicle, stinking it up, or you're someone who has some tools on hand from work, you don't want that grime in your vehicle either. It's also going to save you a ton of space, so you can be more comfortable when you are on those longer trips. And chances are with all this gear, you're going to want to get to it pretty quickly if you're just transporting it from multiple different locations. And that's what I really like about this, with how everything works. Instead of a lot of cargo bags you'll see in cargo carriers, you'll have to spend maybe like 10 minutes trying to rummage through all that. With this, I just unzip it and I can access my items. And what's really nice about this is going to come with a lock core, so it gives you that extra security along with that cage here. Now this kit is going to come with the cargo carrier, it's going to come with the cage, the cover, and the lock core. If you need any more information on those individual pieces, you can check out those videos. But today we're mainly going to be focusing on this as one whole piece. So let's get into what it's going to be like to actually load and unload it. So with this, we're going to have two doors. We've already unlocked it and unzipped it. And we have a pretty large opening here. Now you'll notice that other doors kind of having a little resistance here at the very end. It's just because this cover just makes a little bit of contact with it. So if you have a friend, hold that open for you. If you need all that space, you can have them do that. But what I'll do is just use my side to keep it in place. And this is plenty of room, honestly, because if I have any longer items like these lawn chairs, it's not making contact with anything. It gives me plenty of space to work. Sometimes you can put stuff on top too. And when it comes to those heavier items, since this opening is so large, it's a pretty smooth process taking this in and out, especially with anything heavy. You don't want to struggle with it too much. And all that's in hand with the cover. Since this is custom fit to this cage, it lets us keep all this opening here. Now when we compare that to a more bag style cover, with those bag style covers, you can't really see what you're doing. And here we have all the visuals that we need to grab our stuff. And I just briefly wanted to mention on how all these pieces kind of plug in together. So we're going to have the cargo carrier itself, the bottom piece. And what you'll do then is just grab the cage and bolt that onto the very top of it. Once that's bolted on, then you'll just come back through and use some hook and loop straps to secure this into place. Now this is going to come with a top and a bottom cover, so even when you're driving down the road, you got some mud or water kicking up from your tires, your gear won't get wet from the bottom. And then after that, you're just going to have that lock core to secure the very back of it. Something else I did want to point out is this is going to be a pretty large cargo carrier, and it's going to block quite a bit while also giving you a lot of room. So something to think about with that is making sure people can still see your turn signals, because it's going to be dependent on everyone's vehicle. So here, we're going to have this extra zipper. And if I undo that, that actually gives me access to underneath here, and that's where you can put a light relocator, and we'll also have a license plate relocator too, so you can not only be safe when you're driving around, but you can be legal too. And something I forgot to do yesterday was the water test, of course, to see how this is going to handle up. Because if it's pretty rainy outside or there's a lot of snow, you want to make sure that no water is going to be able to get in here. And we're going to test a couple points. Right now I just got this hose. I'm testing the points where the zipper is, the top of it. We can also check out underneath it. Because when we're driving around, that water is going to be kicking up from underneath. And the way we're going to be able to tell if this actually is holding up fairly well or not is because I got a bunch of paper towels in the bottom of it, so we can see if that picks up any water. Now as you can see how the material is interacting with our water, it's just bouncing right off of here. It's not seeping through at all. And if I move the hose, you can just see how everything's just pulling off to the sides and kind of bubbling up. Now you can kind of see it's kind of pulling up in certain spots over here because we do have that cage that's kind of almost creating these pockets. But as you're driving down the road, this is going to fall right off. Well, now that the rainstorm's over with, we can see that just comes right off of here, and we can check the contents, see if the goods are still dry. Zipper's on the other side. All right, so I'm gonna do this one on the bottom. Okay, so it's almost completely dry in here. You can tell we got these paper towels on the edges here. Now right here, I do have one wet spot, and I'm not sure how that got in here. It might have been pushing up through this gap from underneath, because we are gonna have some small gaps, but even with me spraying this down with a hose, we barely have any water that got in. Now obviously we were hitting this with a hose, and with a hose you're going to have a lot more water pressure just in one spot when we compare this to rain, so I think this did an excellent job holding up. Now if you're still a little bit worried about that water getting on your gear, what I'd recommend doing is trying to keep anything that's really water sensitive here to the center of the cage rather than the edges. Now we also want to check a few things to make sure this is going to be a right fit for your vehicle. So this is going to be rated for 500 pounds. Always go from the lowest rated component when you are hauling anything behind you, so you don't damage anything. But we want to make sure we also have a 2-inch hitch. That's where our 2-inch shank is going to go in place to and secure into place. Now this kit does come with an alignment collar to make that process a little bit easier for you when you are loading this on, and it's going to come with an anti-rattle bolt, which is pretty nice because there's a lot of cargo carriers out there that don't come with any pin whatsoever. And this one also still tilts if you need hatch access or access to the back of your vehicle. Now, in my opinion, I think this is going to be a solid option if you're looking for extra protection, security, and you want just an easy-to-use cargo carrier. The one downside though, like I said earlier, is it's pretty big and can be kind of hard to store in your garage or home. And if you just don't have the space, I'd recommend checking out some of the cargo carriers we have here, because they can be a little bit more compact, and pair that up with a type of cargo bag. But if you really need that extra security when you're on the road, if you're going to multiple places and you don't know where you're going to be, then in my opinion, this is going to be the way to go. Now, if you do decide to go with it, use it for a bit. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it in either a review or comment. And if you do compare it to another type of cargo carrier out there, we'd love to hear your thoughts on how it compares. But again, if you guys have any other questions, let us know here at eTrailer. And I'm Matt, and thanks for watching.